Feast Days, Ian Mackenzie, a novel. This is a trip to Brazil from USA. Devastating, funny, and wise is among the best novels I know about the fate of American innocents abroad. Gareth Greenwald, author of What Belongs to You. This is a book. Okay, this is a book. Miss Author Miss Jane. Okay. Advanced praise. This is brilliant. Okay, it's a great book, right? It's about Brazil. So if you want to learn to read about how to write a book about Brazil, you go be a tourist and write City of Strangers, right? See, if you want to learn, this is 2018 first edition book, second book. A Little Brown and Company, Hachette Book Group. Little Brown. Little Brown, Hachette, right? For Kelsey, first reader of everything, fixes mistakes no one else has to see. First edition. Okay, Brazil. Brazil has a $2 trillion economy. Okay, this is where's this job? So if you want to do trade, be diplomatic. See, the Desert Storm blowing up Arabs because of Obama. I know, important. Yeah, here. Okay, this is a Little Brown publisher. Booking Speaking, about printed in the United States of America. This is a proud American job of publishing books of how to do trade, but they're not always doing trade. See, Brazil letting you visit. My husband worked for a bank in Sao Paulo, a city that reminded you of what Americans used to think the future would look like, gleaming and decrepit at once. The protest began in late spring, although this being the southern hemisphere, this was really the fall. As a young wife, so we were Americans abroad. We weren't the doomed travelers in the Paul Bowles novel. We weren't the idealists or the malarial religion damaged burnouts in Something by Green. We were people far from home, nevertheless. Naivety didn't have the political consequences. We had GPS. In our smartphones, I don't think we were alcoholics. Our passports were the same drawer as our collection of international adapters, none of which seemed to fit a Brazilian wall sockets. My husband was in the chrysalis stage of becoming a rich man. Idealism was never my vice. Okay? They're bankers trying to trade with a $2 trillion. A tribe was an anxious tribe. This is after Lehman Brothers, Fannie and Freddie Mac were Occupy. People were starting to talk about the economic crisis in the past tense, boxed up in the language of history. Great Recession, name something we needed. I was amazed by how fragile wealthy men seemed in their own eyes. They could be so thin-skinned, docile, mistrustful, myopic, boastful, cowardly, and frequently sanctimonious. Call it the anxiety of late capitalism. I should say that it was my husband who belonged to this tribe, like I was ancillary, a word that comes to from Latin for having the status of female slave. That's also the sort of thing I know. Tells you something about how I misspent my education. Touring expats for people like me were trailing spouse. I wasn't aware until after living there for some time that Sao Paulo lies almost exactly on the Tropic of Capricorn. City was a liminal place, not quite tropical, not quite subtropical really. It was both things at once. This fact, when I discovered it, processed a kind of explanatory force. One night, we went to Reserva Cultural to see the new Coen Brothers film about folk singer in Greenwich Village in the 1960s who fails to become Bob Dylan. Towards we walked up Avenida Palseta, past the radio antenna after from a distance resembling the Eiffel Tower to a restaurant in Consoloca. The magazine liked it, pretty restaurant on the bad corner. Nearby they were buildings covered with skins of steel graffiti, boarded-up windows, and decaying brick. Sort of thing. Saw drug acts in flagrant delicto. Was it uncommon in Sao Paulo to find high-end dining in the midst of a room? Whole thing could have been an art installation about gentrification, high-end dining in the midst of a room. On the sidewalk, I saw the froth of old garbage blown around the city wind. Inside the restaurant, you were assaulted by tastefulness, the click of ice in a steel shaker, curl of white staircase. The walls were stacked with cubes of smoked glass. My husband said the waiter chef was famous. So they said they're really hospitable people. They can do business. People said you can do business. They had $2 trillion to trade. They exported $200 billion. America was only second in exporting stuff. Like China took first exporting. Find out what they were exporting to China because they said people don't like them. So China, Americans export stuff like they had gold. You want gold? They had titanium, I think, bauxite, uranium, petroleum. They had those. They had it. Brazil. They had Brazil. They had petroleum. They had things like uranium to export, but America was only number 2 in importing. China imported most of it. They had gold, probably get silver. They had the ore industry to get gold. If you want this book, you could sell this book. This book could be worth like $1 trillion in book sales where you helped get gold out of Brazil. You can find out how much gold Brazil had because this book, you could buy and sell this book about Brazil. If you want gold, you could probably buy and sell this book and get gold from Brazil. See, collectible books, this could be worth $1 trillion to people in buying and selling books about Brazil, importing, exporting gold. If you want gold, you probably could. I'm sure they had ore of all kinds. I'm sure Brazil, I think you could get some pearls. I think you could. I think you could get diamonds. I think you could get some Nubium, really rare stuff. I think you could get Nubium. I think you could get all kinds of things. Or I think you could get Nubium. If you want Nubium, it's a really rare thing to import. Probably get Nubium. See, this is a book made in America with their jobs. They probably import like $1 trillion with this book. They like them. They could probably make it $1 trillion in trade. So if you want gold, you could probably get it. So this book could be worth $1 trillion in doing trade with Brazil. The money from importing and exporting the book to trade to Brazil could, right?